Hey guys, welcome back. I had to pull this thing out again so I could do the alignment on the at least on the IF. And I had sent Dennis a message the other day because the instructions on here talk about the alignment instructions talk about you can use a audio output meter. So I don't actually have one of those that's not built into a stereo. So at first I was using my multimeter set on millivolts, my digital multimeter, but that kind of drives me nuts with the numbers going all over the place. Anyhow, be that as it may. The other thing that they had mentioned was to go ahead and hook a vacuum tube voltmeter into the AVC signal, which when I went back to the schematic confused the heck out of me because well, as it turns out, Dennis did a video to explain it, but as it turns out there are two AV circuits in here. And I'll put a link to his video so you can watch it because he explains it obviously better than I do. So anyway, his suggestion was to go ahead and hook that into the 0.05 microfarad capacitor to ground, which is, I guess I'm not flipping this up to show you, but it is the most convenient. I actually hooked a wire in down here. Where is it? Hooked a wire in down here so I could clip on the you do the negative terminal onto the onto that cap, and then the positive goes to the chassis. And when I was hooking this up, of course, I know other people have made this mistake, but it wasn't really doing anything except for just kind of sitting there, barely moving, and then once in a while it would flip out. So I got caught by the oops, you forgot to switch the switch from AC to over to DC on here. Anyway, so then I had to get my vacuum tube voltmeter up high enough so you guys could see it. So anyway, another thing was when I first tried to do this, you know, it refers to patterns 36A and 36B. This is 36, this is 37, this is the 42. I labeled them, but anyway, I couldn't find the pattern for this, and there is a hole in here, and it looks like you know, they made a change to this in the middle of the production run. Although this is a code 122, the sticker. There isn't a sticker on the inside of this cabinet like I have in my older Philcos that tells you what production run number it is. But what they did on this is, and I do have a newer production run, although I kind of figured I did because the original owner's son had purchased this radio very late in 1941. In fact, one of the stories they would tell about the radio was that it was delivered a week before Pearl Harbor was bombed. So one of the first presidential speeches that they heard over this was the you know, the famous Sunday, December 7th speech. So anyhow, so where is it? Okay, production changes. So it says to increase frequency coverage in the middle push buttons, the compensator strip assembly, well, anyway, I do have that one. To improve the sensitivity of these models, the second IF coil, number 37, was changed from part number 323494 to 323628, which is stamped on this here, 36. I think you can see that quite clearly. And then In making the above coil changes, it will be necessary to do the following. I went through that, but they the ground straps of the first and second 7B tubes here, 7B7 tubes, excuse me, are separated. I guess they were on the schematic. They're tied together. The first 7B7 IF tube grounds to the ground lug on the panel opposite of the first IF coil, which is this one, and it does. The cathode of the second 7B7 IF tube is bypassed by a resistor number 38, which is in there, and condenser 39, which is also in there, to ground at the lug for the tube electrolytic condenser 33, which I believe is the 8, right? Yeah. So that's the one that's right about here, or give or take. Yeah, I think because it's soldered onto that lug there. Anywho, so one of the things that was perplexing me is they talk about lug 36A and B. And when I first did this, I could not find 36A, as I thought it was in this hole, but there's no screw right under the hole. So I kept sticking my screwdriver down there, and you know, it didn't go anywhere, and it didn't touch anything. Plus it was inside the cabinet, which is actually sitting right over here. I am all crowded in down here. Anyway, so it was sitting in the cabinet, which is hard to get into, and I couldn't see what was going on. So anyway, to make a short story long, I pulled out the chassis and I took off the IF can. This is getting all squirrely here. And all I could see in there was a there was a tape. There was tape around it, but it was oh, it's one of those 6 slug ones, and I think it came out to be 350. What was it? 352. It's a really odd size. I mean, it was 302.1, so whatever that is. Anyway, so I was I couldn't figure, and I was thinking to myself, oh God, you know, do I have to replace this? And then of course it's a 6 dot, and I just don't know why I can't really read those very well. Maybe because I've been spoiled and I've been putting all my other values into one of those little calculators that tells you, you know, you put in the color and it magically gives you a number. That, and I have my little cheat sheet cards I get from Just Radios that tells you what the value is on the capacitors. Anyhow, so I was putting this back together and noted that it was one of the only IF cans that in here that has the screw top, which I've had to deal with before, but then it dawned on me right in the middle there of that. See, there's a screw hole. I mean, there's a screw slot, screwdriver slot. So I stuck my flashlight in there, and sure enough, there is a slug in the middle of this coil. And of course, it's a big pain in the butt because this is also, not only does this screw hold the nut hold it on, but you know, I have to loosen this nut in order to adjust it. So anyway, let's go ahead. What led me, the other thing that led me to bring it out was because although the radio was working fine on the upper end of the band, it was not working fine at the bottom end. I'm getting, it would not tune lower than 580 or 620, and I would get, for like 120 kilohertz, I would get the same station. So there was only 2 stations for the first 200 and some odd kilohertz. So anyhow, I know this is starting to run long already, but so let's go ahead and do this. I have it all hooked in, and as I was messing around with it, I realized it doesn't, I guess because I'm hooked into the AVC, it doesn't matter whether I have the volume up or down. It doesn't change the scale, or it doesn't change on the oops, wrong way. Anyhow, so it has it set here for all right. There, where are we? I did it again. Aha, there they are. All right, so the instructions on this are rather interesting. So in order to do the IF patterns, I have connect the signal generator to terminal 4, which is where the AM band goes on the antenna, through a 0.1 microfarad capacitor to the signal generator at 455, grounded to chassis, yada yada yada. I need to set the dial at 580, which I've done. It says volume max range. Like I said, it's not making any difference, so I'm not. Well, let's see. So that scale's not changing, so I don't know. Well, I'm just going to do it, and if I'm wrong, then I'll pull the darn thing back out. So, anyhow, volume switch to max range, switch to shortwave 1 position, which I do, and I have to adjust the patterns 36A, B, 37A, B, and 42A. There is no 42B. That's 36, 37, and 42. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll let you guys watch the meter. Alright, so I'm not really sure which one's A and which one's B. Yeah, this is just touchy. I didn't notice that before. Okay. And it obviously does do something. Alright, well, it doesn't want to do anything anymore. So let's go over to 37. And by the way, I'm on the 15 volt range. That thing is so touchy, it doesn't want to move either. Boy, I hope I don't run any more slugs like this, because this is irritating. Well, it does have a pretty fine adjustment. I'm pretty sure this is about as far as I'm going to get on this. By the way, I'm using the third scale down as my reference. You know, I had that 4.3 there a minute ago. Very touchy. Alright. Well, since this one doesn't seem to affect it quite as much. Alright, 4.3. I think I'll leave it for there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off now, and I'll put the... I'm going to try this with the volume up louder without being online, just to make sure that it's correct. What was the last thing? Oh, like I said, you can hook up a signal, whatever it is called. What's it called? Audio output meter to the one, and if you guys recall in the video, this is the yellow wire that goes from here all the way over to the output transformer, which I immediately first thought was some crazy way to have an extra speaker. So anyway, alright, so I'm going to end this for now. I'll go ahead and start uploading it, and then I have to put the chassis back into the cabinet and hook up the antennas to do the other alignment. I had I think I screwed up 18 the shortwave 2 and possibly shortwave 1, and I'll show you that in the next video because of the I'm going to call them crazy. They're crazy to me. The crazy instructions in here you have to do, and then. But I'm not sure because I don't really get much shortwave anyway, and I don't really recall ever getting anything on the upper band other than during the day. Sometimes I can get the time signal at 15 megahertz. But the police band seems to be okay because the other night I was messing around with it, and I was able to tune in Radio Havana, which, boy, talk about... I listened to them spew anti-American propaganda for about an hour, and it was just almost comical. By the way, our economy is going to completely implode this week. I thought I'd let you know, because that's what they told me on Radio Havana. And we're all going to go into civil war and chaos, and we're going to all cannibalize each other. It's going to be rather fun. So, anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.